I think I was able to get jobs despite my disability, but I think that people, because I did my work well, I found that managers would push me beyond my limits. So they didn't respect the boundaries of, hey, I can't do a morning shift because it's hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. And then I would do a night shift, and then they would have me on a day shift right after. And I'm like, you didn't respect my boundaries. So I'm like, that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
Or like if I can only work like, well, let's say for right now, like I work 12 hours a week, and I'm like, that's kind of my limit now is the 12 hours a week. I find if I do more than that, it doesn't go as well. So I don't know that my disability affected getting a job as much as employers respecting my limitations because of my disability. I moved to Edmonton and I was jobless, so I went to a job fair for people with disabilities, and there are a whole bunch of companies there, and I don't think they were realistic on the positions they had for people with disabilities. I'm like, you're asking a lot. Like the provincial government was there and they wanted like university education, they wanted all the, like, you're not trying to hire people with disabilities. But anyway, Gateway Association happened to be there too. And so their representative was Vicky Mancini, and she helped me through the process. I ended up very fortunate because before we even did all of the intake stuff, a job was presented to Gateway, and they felt that I would be the best fit for that job. And so we didn't even finish the intake, and I already had a job. So that was really cool. I know now it doesn't quite work that way, but I was really lucky. So I found like the recruitment process a little bit daunting. Well, I don't even know if it's recruitment. I found that like to submit resumes even was so hard because like I didn't have a computer, so I was using my tablet or my phone. But then some places wouldn't accept your resume if you used a tablet or a phone. You needed a laptop. So I had to get somebody to help me buy a laptop so I could apply for these jobs. So that was frustrating. Also, like, it wasn't like the old days you could just go in and drop off a resume. It's now everything electronic. And I feel that hinders people with disabilities even more, because if you don't have the devices to send in your resume, and you don't have a really good resume that will trick the algorithms, they probably won't even see it. So I think the recruiting is a lot harder. I think it's problematic, first of all, because not a lot of people with disabilities are going to have a college or a university degree. Most of us might even not have high school, like our grade 12. Should that make us ineligible for work, right? I mean, essentially, even if you had somebody with a degree, you still have to train them. So I don't see the difference, right? I might have the skills and all of that to do that job, but you're saying because you don't have this degree, we're not going to look at you, even though you might even be better than somebody with a degree. So I think that that's just very unrealistic. And I think it's, for the employers, I think it's shooting them in the foot, because they're missing out on a lot of good talent. And I also feel like I've heard that employers will say, oh, the accommodations are going to be expensive, and so I don't want to do the accommodation. But sometimes it's like buy a board at the dollar store and put pictures on it so the individual could just see, right? Like, it could be that simple. It doesn't mean you have to renovate your whole office to accommodate people. And then I feel too, like, if it's like a business where they can't accommodate in terms of like elevators and that kind of thing, then unfortunately I would say, well, maybe this isn't the position for that individual, even though they may be qualified. Just because I'm disabled doesn't mean that automatically means I should have a job. I should be treated with the same dignity and respect as everybody else. And if I'm not going to be a good fit for whatever legitimate reason, then that's okay. I'm not saying that everybody with a disability should be hired right away and forget everybody else. No, you need to be able to say, okay, I don't think we can accommodate this because we don't want to put in, let's say, an elevator, right? My current employer, can I brag?
Yeah.
Okay, so at work we have cultural commitment awards. I've never actually won, but I've actually been nominated for them. And even this year I got nominated by one of the supervisors. My current job is great. They love me, they care about me. They work with me. Like, they don't say, oh, come on, you have to work another 3 hours. They're just like, okay, you're done, you're done. My employer is also really good with work-life balance. So like, if it's an email from a manager, it will usually say in the email, like, if you're not at work right now, don't bother replying to this email. My employer has good mental health benefits. They're always concerned about employee mental health, even mine. Like, for example, like a friend of mine died, and I told my supervisor that day, like, I'm sorry, my friend is in the hospital, I can't make it. And his first thing was, well, if you need to talk, let me know. And his second was, these are all the resources that you can access for mental health if you need it through your employer. So that's really cool. And then I'm the type of person that likes to try to think outside the box. So try to find a solution to a problem. I also get to work with the public sometimes, and I find that really rewarding. And I always get comments that they love it when I'm working in that position. So they foster like a really, really good work environment, well, as best they can, which I really appreciate. But yeah, they really respect me, and they respect what I can and cannot do. Like, I've even had days where, and I don't lie to my supervisor, like if I'm just having a mental health bad day, I just message, hey, I need a mental health day today. And my manager's like, no problem, take care of yourself. If you need anything, let us know, right? So I don't even feel like I have to be like, oh, I'm sick. I can actually just say what it really is and not have to worry about any repercussions. I don't need a lot of accommodations per se. I do need, especially when I'm working with public, like this one guy had me in tears. So I just like, I wasn't in tears on the floor, but I like excused myself and said, I gotta go. And then I went up to my floor and I just sat at my desk and then I cried. So they're very good about that. They're very good, like, okay, if you need some time, just go take time, right? Especially if somebody's been difficult, then please just take some time if you need it. And also, like, I have an unseen disability, so, but they're still very good about it, right? I don't get treated any worse or any better than anybody else. And there are people at my employment that do have wheelchairs or walkers, and they try their best to make the accommodations for those people as well. So I'm in a specialized program with my employer. So I kind of get a little bit more perks this way. So I kind of don't want to leave it because I like the little bit of the perks and freedoms I have with it. But yes, by all means, if I wanted to apply for a different position, I could apply for another position. We have at work like a school kind of thing. And my supervisor is always like, yeah, just look on there. If there's anything you want to take, let me know. So, I could do other things. But I kind of really like what I'm doing. And I like the fact, like, for example, which is an accommodation, I suppose. I can pick my own hours and my own days. And I can, like, flex them if I have to. So if I'm sick one day, they don't mind if I make up those hours in any way that I feel that's right for me. So I guess in a way that's an accommodation. But it's also really nice that I don't want to end up in a position where I have to be like very rigid with my schedule. They allow me to do certain jobs that maybe another team member might do. For example, a couple of weeks ago, well, we've had a whole bunch of stuff on our floor like pre-pandemic, and it was bothering me, and it was bothering my supervisor, like, we don't need this stuff, how do we get rid of it? So I kept on to my coworkers, hey, how do we get rid of this? How do we get rid of it? And no replies. So finally I'm like, hey, can you just send me the surplus form? And they sent me the surplus form, then I sent it to my supervisor and I said, this is the information I'm going to need to get things out of here. So once all that was initiated, then I could box everything up, and then I had to email for somebody to come pick it up. And then my supervisor was just like really happy. They don't only expect me to do menial tasks, I guess is the word. They allow me to use my mind and say, oh, this doesn't work, or what's the process to do all this stuff? And then they allow me to do it. So I really feel like part of the team. And sometimes like my job isn't maybe as fulfilling as some people might think, but I know that I make a difference for my coworkers, which means they can make a difference in their job.